Once upon a time, there lived a young woman in a small town. She was a daughter of a wealthy merchant and was well loved by all who knew her. She was a kind, gentle soul and always had a smile on her face. But life was not always easy for her. Her father was a strict man who wanted her to marry someone of good standing, and she was expected to abide by his wishes. One day, her father's business partner came to visit. He was a handsome, charming man and the young woman was instantly captivated by him. She found herself wishing she could be with him, but she knew it was out of the question. Even though her heart longed for him, she kept her feelings hidden. The young woman's father arranged for her to be married to the son of his business partner. She did not love this man, and her heart still belonged to her father's business partner. But she knew she had no choice and resigned herself to the fate that awaited her. She soon found out that her father's business partner was also to be married. His betrothed was a wealthy, beautiful woman from a prestigious family. The young woman was heartbroken, but she had no choice but to accept it. But fate had other plans. One day, the young woman and the business partner found themselves alone in a garden. They looked into each other's eyes and were overcome with emotion. The young woman had never felt such a strong connection before, and before she knew it, they were in each other's arms. They both knew that their love was forbidden, but the young woman found herself unable to resist the temptation. In that moment, they embraced the sweetest sin of all, forbidden love. They kept their affair a secret, but the young woman's father was suspicious. He had noticed the strange looks that passed between them, and he was determined to find out what was going on. One day, he followed the young woman and the business partner to the garden. He saw them embracing and was filled with rage. He shouted at them and told them to never see each other again. The young woman and the business partner knew that they were never to be together again. They said their last goodbye and parted ways, never to see each other again. The young woman was heartbroken, but she knew that she had to move on with her life. She eventually married the man her father had chosen for her, and they lived happily ever after. But the young woman never forgot her forbidden love, the sweetest sin of all. The young woman had been married for several years now, but her heart still ached for her forbidden love. She thought of him often and wondered what life would have been like if they had been able to be together. One day, she received a letter from her former flame. He had heard news of her marriage and wanted to know if it was true. He had never forgotten her either, and he wanted to see her one last time. The young woman was conflicted. She knew it was wrong to meet with him, but her heart was calling out to her. She wanted to see him and tell him how she truly felt. Finally, she decided to meet with him. She wrote him a letter and arranged for a secret meeting in the garden where they had said their last goodbye. The night of the meeting arrived, and the young woman nervously made her way to the garden. When she arrived, she saw her former flame standing there, waiting for her. They looked into each other's eyes and embraced. They talked for hours and shared their feelings for each other. The young woman felt a deep sense of peace and contentment in his embrace. As the sun began to set, the young woman and her former flame walked to the edge of a nearby pond. They stood there in silence, watching the sun dip below the horizon. The young woman knew in that moment that she was truly in love with him. She had never felt like this before, and she knew that it was wrong, but she also knew that it was right. The young woman knew that she could never have a life with her former flame, but in that moment, she felt like she had found her true happiness. The young woman and her former flame spent the rest of the night walking hand in hand through the forest. They talked about their hopes and dreams, and the young woman felt like she was finally free. As the sun began to rise, they knew that they had to part ways. They said their last goodbye, and the young woman knew that they could never be together. But her heart felt lighter than it had in years, and she knew that she had made the right decision. The young woman returned home and tried to go on with her life as if nothing had happened. But she was different now. She felt a newfound sense of freedom and confidence, and she no longer felt trapped in her own life. Every night, she would stand in front of the mirror in her bedroom and look at her reflection. She saw a new person looking back at her, a person who was brave enough to follow her heart and take a chance on love. The young woman's husband noticed the changes in her and was happy for her. He could see that she was more content and at peace, and he respected her newfound strength. The two of them began to talk more and more, and the young woman found that she could trust him and confide in him. She told him about her forbidden love and how it had changed her life. The young woman's husband listened to her story and was understanding. He knew that she had found her true happiness, and he was happy for her. The two of them embraced each other in the living room, and the young woman finally felt like she was home. She had found a new kind of love, a love that was grounded in understanding and trust. The young woman and her husband had decided to get married. They had gone to the courthouse to get the paperwork done and were now standing in front of a judge, ready to be married. The young woman was nervous, but she also felt a deep sense of joy. She had found love in a way that she had never expected, and she was grateful to be able to share it with her husband. The judge smiled as he pronounced them husband and wife. The young woman looked up at her husband and smiled. She felt like she was finally where she belonged. The couple left the courthouse and went to celebrate their marriage. The young woman felt a deep sense of peace and contentment, and she knew that she had made the right decision. The couple went to a nearby park and stood in front of a tree. They exchanged rings and declared their love for each other. The young woman felt like she was finally free. She had found a new kind of love, a love that was based on understanding and trust. She was grateful to have found it, and she knew that she would cherish it forever. The couple went to a nearby lake and watched a beautiful sunset. The sky was painted in a beautiful array of colors, and the young woman felt like she was in a dream. The young woman knew that this was the beginning of a new life for her. She had found true love and finally felt like she belonged. She knew that she had found her true happiness, and she was grateful for it.